This is the question asked in today's skillrack daily challenge. So we will be given the details of a person as input. The first line contains the name of a person, and then in the second line the first integer represents the weight of the person, and the second integer, that is the second double variable, represents the height of the person in meters. So the particular person name is Hector and his weight is 80 kilogram and his height is 1.65 meter. So now our task is to calculate the BMI of this person. To calculate the BMI, we are given the formula as BMI is equal to weight by height into height, where height is in meters and weight is in kg. So now using these values, we have to calculate the BMI of the person. So when we substitute the values 80 divided by 1.6 into 1.6, the value which we get is 29.4, which is the BMI of this particular person, Hector. So this is how we have to calculate the BMI, and while printing our output, we have to print all the details. So first name Hector, and then weight 80 kilogram, and then height 1.65 meter, and then BMI 29.4. So this is how we should be printing the output. But here our task is to define a class named person which will be doing all this function. So let us see the code which is already given. So our task is to define the class named person, and the class named hello is already defined. So let us see how this class named hello is defined. So in the class hello, first we are creating an object for the scanner class, and then using it we are accepting the input. So we are accepting the name, and then we are accepting the weight, and we are accepting the height, and then we are creating an object for the person class. So when creating the object itself, we are passing the name, weight and height in the arguments. So now the class person will be having all the details, that is it will have the name, weight and height of the particular person. So after creating an object, we have two printf statements. So in the first print statement, we are printing the object itself. So the object which we have created is person, and we are printing that object itself. And in the next print statement, we are going to print the body mass index using the method named getBodyMassIndex, which is present in the person class. So using the object which we have created for the person class, we are going to access that method. So person.getBodyMassIndex. So now let us see how we will be defining the class person so that this code runs successfully and prints the output in the correct format. So to create a class, the syntax is class name, and it is given in the question that the class name is person. So class person, and in this class I am creating three variables. So an integer named weight, and then a double variable named height, and then a string variable named name, in which we will be storing the name of the person. So initially it will be empty. Now we have to initialize the values for these variables. So in the hello class code, we were able to see that when we are creating object itself, we were passing the name, weight and height in the arguments. So when the object is created for a particular class, the constructor will be called. A constructor is nothing but a method with the same name of the class name. So here the class name is person, so this constructor name is also person, and it accepts three variables in its arguments. So the name, weight and height. So now using the values which is received in the arguments, we are going to initialize the values for the variables which we have created in the class. So the variables which we have created in the class are weight, height and name. So to access those variables, we have to use this keyword. So to access this weight, we have to say like this dot weight, and then this dot height, this dot name. So now we are going to assign values to these variables. So within the constructor, we are going to set like this dot weight is equal to weight. So this weight represents the weight which is received in the arguments, and this dot weight represents the variable which we have created in the class. So this variable. So this is how we will be initializing the values. So this dot height is equal to height, and this dot name is equal to name. So in the hello class, we were able to see that when we are creating an object for the class person, we were passing the values of name, weight and height in the arguments. So when we are creating an object, the constructor will be called. So in this constructor, we are initializing the values for the variables weight, height and name. So when an object is created, now our class will be containing the values of these variables weight, height and name. So now using this, we have to print our output. So in the hello class, soon after creating an object for this person class, we were able to see two print statement. So the first print statement directly prints the object itself, and the second print statement will print the body mass index. So to print the body mass index, now we have all the values, so we can calculate the BMI and return it. But in the first print statement, we were printing directly the object. So when we are going to directly print the object, we will be getting some hexadecimal values, because what Java will be doing is it will be converting the object into a string using the toString method. But as per the required output format, the first print statement should be printing the name, height and weight of the person. So what we are going to do is we are going to override the method named toString. So we are using the keyword at override, and we will be overriding this method named toString. So now we can define this method as per our wish. So now in this particular program alone, the toString method will be returning the details like this. So within the method, I am creating a string named person details, in which we will be storing all the values in the format. So in the output, we have to print in such a way that first we have to print name, and then we have to print the name of the person, and in the next line we have to print height, and then height of the person, and then weight of the person. So we have to store all these values in this string named person details. So finally, after storing, we are going to return that string. So this is what this toString method will be returning. So what happens is, when the object is being printed in the hello class, it will call toString method, but we have overridden the toString method. So now the toString method is going to return this value, so that we will be getting the required output. So now we have finished the first print statement. In the next print statement, we were calling the method name get body mass index. So I am going to define that method in this class. So it is of return type double, and the name is get body mass index. So to calculate the body mass index, we were given the formula also. So directly we are going to return. So using return statement, we are going to return weight by height into height, which will be the required body mass index. And it was also given in the question that the height of the person must be rounded up to 2 decimal places. So when we are going to store the height of the person in the string named person details in the method toString, what we have to do is we have to use string.format method, so that we will be rounding the height variable up to 2 decimal places. So this is how we should be returning the output. So our task is only to fill this, store the values into this string named person details, so that we will be getting the required output. Thank you for watching.